Now, every generation has an artist that doesn't just make music. They redefine what it means to be an artist. Someone who doesn't need to explain themselves because the culture around them does the explaining for them. Someone who creates not just songs, but entire worlds that we step into. And for this generation, that artist is Playboi Carti. His influence stretches far beyond just streaming numbers or chart positions. It lives within the underground scenes that he's inspired, the fashion shifts that he's caused, the new sounds that he's unlocked, and the entire aesthetic trends that follow him. Today, I'm going to be breaking down who Playboi Carti truly is, the artist, the evolution, the impact, and the legacy that he's building right now in front of us. So who is Playboi Carti? Playboi Carti is an artist that has literally built his entire career around the transformation of his identity. Each era of his career introduces a completely new character, a new voice, a new aesthetic, and overall just a new energy. Now, from the beginning, Carti has treated reinvention as his biggest tool. One of his earliest eras, the broke boy / Cash Carti era, introduced a raw, rebellious version of him. This was the underground Carti. He had grittier beats, unfiltered lyrics, Mexico drill production, and a sound that didn't follow any of the rules that the Atlanta rap scene had at the time. It was messy, it was unfiltered, and it was unpredictable. It carried an attitude that set him apart from the rest of the Atlanta rap scene, which was the biggest rap scene at the time. Then came his self-titled / Die Lit era. Now, this era was probably one of his most recognizable eras. This is probably where everything flipped. Suddenly, the music became bright, colorful, and full of balance. This era was heavily shaped by his chemistry with the producer / rapper Pierre Bourne, one of the most important producers in Carti's career. Pierre's video game type melodies, minimal drums, and instantly recognizable producer tag.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?
Helped define Carti's sound in 2017 and 2018. Tracks like Magnolia, Long Time, and RIP became cultural moments in 2017 and 2018. Carti was vibrant, stylish, and at his most colorful, a charismatic figure taking over mainstream culture. After Die Lit, Carti transformed again, but this time it was much darker. This was believed to be due to the passing of one of his closest friends. In this era, he tapped into a dark, experimental, vampire-inspired aesthetic. This era was aggressive, theatrical, and chaotic on purpose. He had distorted rage beats, punk energy, screamed vocals, and a gothic aesthetic that made him feel more so as a rock star rather than a rapper. It was a complete reinvention, and eventually it became one of the most influential shifts in modern hip-hop history. And now, 2025, Carti has entered his I Am Music era, pulling clear inspiration from the rapper Lil Wayne, someone who Carti has admired for years. Just like Lil Wayne, someone who reshaped his entire generation of hip-hop, Carti is stepping into his own mythic, larger-than-life persona. Even the album name I Am Music shows how bold this era is going to be. It's self-defined, and it positions Carti not just as an artist, but as a cultural artifact. Every shift feels intentional. His sound changes, his voice changes, and his fashion changes, and the culture around him does the same. Carti communicates through energy rather than explanation, which this could be taken literally via his music or just culturally. His fans evolve with him. Now, before any of these eras ever even existed, Playboi Carti was just Jordan Terrell Carter, a kid that was born in Atlanta and raised in Riverdale, Georgia. From an early age, he listened to artists like Michael Jackson, Prince, Young Jeezy, Lil Wayne, and Currency. He used to freestyle around the house, and when his family heard him rap for the first time, they threw rappers at him jokingly, not realizing that they were witnessing a spark of something real. Carti attended North Springs Charter High School in Sandy Springs, a school known for its strong art programs. But he wasn't focused on the music back then. He was focused on basketball. He genuinely believed that he could go pro. But then Carti started smoking. He started smoking every day before practice. He started to see his grades slip. He got into fights. He even got into a fight with his coach, which obviously got him kicked off the basketball team. When basketball came to an end, music became his outlet. He first started recording under the name Sir Cartier. His first songs were made on GarageBand, and he uploaded early tracks that showed flashes of a style that he would later perfect. His first project, Young Misfits, exists still today. You could find it on YouTube, like right now, if you wanted to listen to it. You can hear the raw beginnings of the artist that he would later become. Now, during this time, he started to get a little bit of a buzz in the underground rap scene, but he was still working at jobs like Kroger and H&M. But he eventually quit when one day somebody seen him behind the counter and recognized him. Feeling embarrassed that people would only know him as a retail worker, he quit and double down on his music career.
Still in school, bro. Look, I'm still in school working at H&M. But anyway, I'm like this. I don't want to work here no more. Just coming to the job, princess. Look, like this. Like, yo, you Carti? Yeah, bro, that song you got fired. How long you been working here? That shit don't sound right, bro. I'm like, man, I'm about to quit.
Now, at the time, he was still in high school, but he barely graduated. His family didn't even attend his graduation because they didn't even think he would pass. That moment shaped his independence, his hunger, and his resilience. Now, after high school, Carti officially entered the Atlanta underground rap scene. He then met a producer by the name of Ethereal, who helped to refine his sound, and he briefly joined his record label called Offer Records. Later, he ended up meeting a producer named Mexico Dro. Now, when he met Mexico Dro, this is when he became Cash Carti, which is when things started to really turn around for him. But the biggest turning point came in 2015 when he moved to New York and he started sleeping on the floor of a friend's house. That friend would eventually introduce him to a fashion icon named Ian Connor, A$AP Bari, and eventually A$AP Rocky. That environment opened Carti's eyes to fashion, culture, and an identity in a way that Atlanta simply just couldn't. It laid the blueprint for the Carti that we know today. Carti's influences stretches across sound, culture, fashion, and the people he surrounded himself with. When he began recording with Ethereal, Carti made a big decision that shaped his entire sound. He didn't want trap beats. Now, at the time, trap beats were the biggest thing in Atlanta. Now, this was huge because during this time, when Atlanta was the most dominant sound, Metro Boomin, 808 Mafia, Zaytoven, and many other Atlanta-based producers were the biggest. It was the current wave, it was the current trend, it was just what was normal, especially in Atlanta. Every new artist wanted that formula, but Carti didn't. He wanted an atmosphere, he wanted a space, he wanted a melody, he wanted a feeling, essentially. That's what he wanted a feeling. Now, when he later met Mexico Dro expanded upon that with hypnotic synths and unconditional drum patterns. Carti wasn't trying to ride the Atlanta wave, he was creating a new one. Now, his influences weren't just sonic, they were personal. When he moved to New York, it exposed him to an entirely different world. Ian Connor became a major influence, introducing him to high fashion, runway culture, and the idea of using style as an identity. Ian Connor taught him how intentional an image or presence could be used with social media to express yourself. Then A$AP Mob again expanded upon that influence in streetwear into everything. Now, A$AP Rocky showed Carti how to blend rap, high fashion, and streetwear. He taught him how to build a persona that felt iconic. Artistically, Carti pulled from everywhere. Michael Jackson for the performances on stage, Lil Wayne for reinvention and vocal experimentation, Kanye West for his fearlessness and his aesthetic shifts, Young Thug for his vocal freedom and fashion expression, and Gucci Mane for his swagger and Atlanta authenticity. After 2 years of hype, leaks, fit pics, and chaotic fan anticipation, the album dropped on Christmas of 2020. And what people got was nothing that they expected. He had distorted rage beats, which weren't really heard at the time, super sharp ad-libs, screamed vocals, and just an overall vampire type aesthetic. It felt closer to rock than rap. At first, people didn't really understand it. I was people. Honestly, I didn't really like the album. Social media clowned it. Memes went viral. Some fans even questioned if Carti was in his right state of mind. The album just wasn't received well online. But that wasn't really the point. The point was to grow the album in person, which was never really seen before. Whole Lotta Red wasn't made for quiet listening in your room. It was made for crowds, chaos, and movement. And once Carti performed all of these songs live in 2021, the entire vision clicked for people. The mosh pits, the screaming crowds, suddenly everything made sense to people. Songs like Stop Breathing, Rockstar Made became anthems for the new generation. Now after this, the rage sound exploded. A wave of artists like Yeat, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and my favorite artist, Osama-san, built their entire style from the energy that Carti introduced. Osama-san's entire career rollout was built entirely upon earlier eras of Carti. It actually became a trend to copy Carti at one point. Osama-san's entire career rollout was built upon Carti's earlier eras. I can literally put photos side by side and it'll be a direct copy of what Carti was doing in that specific era. It was crazy. But back to the point. Even the leaks before the album, like Neon, Pissy Pamper, Cancun, became a part of Carti's mythology, deepening his legend and raising the anticipation for his next album. Now, a Whole Lotta Red didn't just change the style of music. It changed fashion. It changed the way people performed music. It changed the way people made albums. There's rappers that literally have made entire albums now. I think his name is Nine Vicious. He created an entire album just to be performed. Carti didn't just drop an album. He triggered a cultural reset. Now, why does this matter so much to me? I'm not even really a Carti fan. Like, I hated his newest album, honestly. I didn't like Whole Lotta Red. I still don't like a lot of the songs from Whole Lotta Red. But my point still stands. Like, I can't deny and say that he didn't change this generation of music. As someone building a media platform centered on this generation's music, just me doing the research on this, just on Carti in general, is helping me understand why the culture is the way that it is today and where it's heading. And now if you want to understand this generation's sound, style, fashion, whatever you want to say, you have to understand where it came from.